Doctors are no different from
Well,
carpenters, it seems.
What do you mean?
I often had
Yeah.
professional arguments with rivals on a building site. Difference is, I disagreed about wooden nails, not flesh and bones.
you could say that now we live in a lucky time where we can now experiment on other stuff than humans before trying it out on humans. But you know, if those people hadn't done what they did back then, we wouldn't be here. I guess.
Tell me about your injury, Harvey. Why do you feel so guilty about it?
My wife died because of me. And now I may lose everything because I've been careless enough to hurt myself. What an arsehole.
Aw, bro.
How could your job be responsible for your wife's death?
I was working a double. She went out to bring me a hot meal and got caught in a German bomb raid.
You can't hold yourself responsible for your injury, Mr. Fiddick, unless you tried to hurt yourself.
Of course I didn't hurt myself. But I can't work until my arm is fixed. My children need to eat, Doctor.
Tell me more about the death of your wife, Harvey.
1915. I was in the army.
Oh, I
Building workshops for
wish.
the Royal Flying Corps. Helen was happy I wasn't sent to the front.
What happened?
The Germans sent Zeppelins to bomb the construction site, but they missed their target. My wife was bringing my dinner when the bombs fell.
I'm sorry for your loss. So many died during the bombings. I served in France and witnessed the carnage there.
I would like to say that she didn't suffer. Truth is, I have no idea. I just know that I'm all that me kids have. Poor little bleeders.
How are your children after losing their mother?
They were smaller then. The only good thing about this is my Helen didn't bring them with her that night.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Fiddick.
I have good info on him.
Oh, sweet girl. Reads me like a book.
No, if she, you know, if a bomb falls on you, you probably don't suffer for long. Probably is like pretty instantaneous, but still. Due to the influenza, the hospital is full. Yeah, we know.
Let you down, my boy.
Oh! It's a matter of time, guys, before Van pops in the room. Who are you?
Good evening, miss. I'm Dr. Reed, the new surgeon at the Pembroke Hospital. And who are you?
Your name has no meaning to me, mortal. You're nothing but dust blown by the winds of eternity.
I beg your pardon?
What are you begging for, mortal? My clemency? Well, tonight maybe I'm inclined to mercy. You'll never forget the night you met Thelma Howcroft.
You keep calling me mortal. Why is that? And if I'm mortal, what are you?
Well, Dr. Reed, if you must know, I'm a vampire.
Sure you are.
And why do you believe you're a vampire?
I don't need to believe anything. It is what I am. It is what I feel within this hollow shell of flesh.
Please, describe to me how you...
Yeah, she's just a psycho. There's
What
no
is it
way.
like to be a vampire?
I can hear my body crumble from the inside as my flesh cracks and fades. I sense the last pulse of postulant blood within my drying veins. I need new blood.
That's not how it feels.
I see. Have you ever heard of Cotard syndrome, Miss Howcroft?
Never.
It's a mental illness discovered by a French neurologist named Jules Cotard. The affected patients are delusional. They believe that they are putrefying, that they are dead, a ghost or a ghoul, or in your case, a vampire.
Delusional, you say? Oh, sad and petty mortal. You can't even begin to understand the concept of immortality. And you think it is I who am delusional.
You're right, Chodos. I didn't think about that. She has a pulse. If she has a pulse, she's not a vampire. That makes total sense.
I'm assuming you must be a patient here. Am I right, Miss Howcroft?
It's only a cover. To hide from my enemies. I can leave whenever I want. As a woman, a spirit, fog, or bat.
Sure.
Who are these enemies you mentioned? Can you describe them?
I cannot say for sure. But I sense their eyes on me from nearby. I feel them watching me every time I visit the garden near the morgue.
The staff here are not your enemy. They're here to help you, to care for you.
I'm not speaking of the doctors in white. I'm speaking of the men and women who hunt me. For I am a vampire.
I see. Don't worry. These people will
Sure,
not
lady.
harm you here.
Sure.
I'll personally make sure they leave you alone.
Thank you, mortal. But do not interfere with them, for you are no match for those that hunt me.
Wrong target. New investigation. Interesting.
Who are you really, Miss Howcroft? I mean, apart from being a vampire.
Is that not enough for you, puny mortal? What do you require? Proof of my powers?
I'm curious to know who you were before becoming a vampire.
No, it was such a long time ago, I don't remember. Centuries of unholy life can have strange effects on one's minds, you see?
I'm sure. I am sure.
I'll leave you, Mistress of the Dark, to your nocturnal activities.
She's completely insane. Prevent disease. Careless spitting, sneezing, coughing, spread influenza. Spread by droplets sprayed from nose and throat. Do not cough in public. What are you supposed to do? Even today, we don't tell people not to cough in public. We just tell them to cough in their elbow or something. It's not like you can control if you're gonna cough or not, you know? Yunks. Okay. So we can go outside, but I kind of don't want to go yet. Because I fear like outside is going to be where there is one of the missions. There's a guy outside and he's... Oh? Dear brothers, I must now draw your attention to a very important point. The use of garlic is a protection against vampire. Let's be crystal clear on the subject. Garlic will never protect you against those creatures. No matter how fresh, how strong, and how smelly, garlic is totally useless as a defense. I can never say enough how damaging that novel of Bram Stoker has been. Yes, of course, population of Slavic countries place garlic cloves in coffins. Yes, of course, inhabitants of Santorini Island hang garlics on their windows. There would be so much to write about this place, and someday soon, I hope to go back to this island to further explore its occult tradition. But that is not to protect the living from the devil. It is to tell the dead that they are aware of their malevolence. It is a symbol, nothing more and nothing less. So please, by all means, yes, wear garlic, show garlic, and tell the shadows that you're not afraid. But if you're looking for supernatural protection, you will have to search much deeper into the forgotten secrets of the occult tradition. For here is the truth, my fellow brothers. Garlic does not repel a vampire, but all the fresh plants will hurt them. It is as if their body could not stand the presence of botanical elements. I have seen an enraged vulp flee when whacked with a rose. Yes, a simple rose. I have witnessed a violent econ fall down and beg for mercy when stuck by a wooden stake. I don't know why it is so effective, and I would give my left arm to find the answer to that mystery, but the truth remains, nevertheless. Vampires are very sensitive to fresh herbs, plants, and woods. From Facing the Shadow, How and Why by Usher Taltry, Primate of St. Paul. Fresh herbs, apparently.
Good evening, sir. Can I help you?
Unless you're here to fix my face. No.
I was gonna say, like, his face is kind of...
Me.
I'm Dr. Reed. I've recently taken the position of head surgeon here. War injuries, am I right?
You guessed right, Doctor. German shell took my pretty little mug right off. But they still call me Thomas Elwood.
Okay.
How is your stay with us, Mr. Elwood?
Oh, it's bliss. I just escaped.
Oh, no,
death
no, no, no,
in
that's the name of the
trenches
mission,
To
yeah.
be surrounded again by the moans of the dying.
Can I ask you precisely why you're a patient here?
It's the pain, sir. The drugs don't work. It just hurts under the scars, if you get my drift.
Can I do anything for your pain?
Nurses gave me a bunch of pills. No effect. Told you. It's like the flames are under my skin, burning away.
Who is treating you? Is someone in particular looking after your case?
Nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke to me. Started to think I was forgotten about. Wouldn't blame you.
You don't seem worried by that.
My face hurts so much more when I smile or cry. I've learned it's easier not to speak. But be assured I'm smiling inside.
Sure. You seem like somebody that's smiling inside.
Where were you stationed, sir? Did you serve for long?
I really don't want to talk about all this shit.
No offense. I was pushing too much. I served in France myself. I just wanted to know what happened to you.
You were an officer, weren't you? Then I doubt we fought the same war, sir. No offense.
How close are you to Miss Horcroft? Are you aware that she thinks she is a vampire?
To wait for her next nibble is the best reason to stay here.
What?
Every time she approaches my bed, she treats me like something tasty. A normal person.
Aren't you afraid? She may hurt you if the game goes too far.
She's quite harmless, I can assure you. Her head's broken inside is all. While I'm busted on the outside. But she's still beautiful. Living proof that there's hope for me.
So do you let her bite you? You know that's not sanitary.
And why not? She's only supping a few drops of me blood. And the pain, it's real for once.
She could decide to bite less willing patients.
Then it's another good reason for me to stay here, Doctor.
You do realize she's mentally disturbed. It's called the Cotard syndrome. She truly believes she's a vampire.
In her madness, she never refers to my scars. And frankly, if I could, I'd join her world. It seems much more fun than the real one.
Sure.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
She's biting him. Like, actually biting him. This is great.
Good evening, Nurse Hawkins.
Good evening, Dr. Reed.
Oh, it's the same. We've spoken to her.
Goodbye, Nurse Hawkins.
Everybody's so polite. I love it.
Good evening, Mr. Hampton. How do you feel?
Dr. Reed, is it? Oh, sir, I must apologize for my behavior.
What do you mean?
I was not myself in the factory. Fear and exhaustion made me say awful things to you, I'm afraid.
You remained perfectly nice and polite. A little delirious, perhaps. But who wouldn't be after enduring an abduction?
Thank you, Doctor. That's a relief. Now all I need to do is rest and return to my flock.
How did you end up in William Bishop's den?
I had received alarming news about his recent behavior. I went to his place and he refused to let me go.
Why did he abduct you?
William was an alcoholic. His addiction suddenly changed to blood. I don't know why. Just like a patient I met here. This Miss Hawcroft.
You dared to enter this awful place alone. You're a hero, Mr. Hampton. Or a fool.
I'm just a man trying to help his friends, Dr. Reed. William Bishop was a conflicted soul, searching for light.
Searching for light.
Do you know Tom Watts, the bartender from the Turtle? I met him before I found you in the canning factory.
Tom? Yes, of course. Always the helping hand, good old Tom. Without men like him, corruption and despair would have wiped out the East End long ago.
People are still in despair.
How could it be otherwise? The authorities have left us all to rot in this contagious nightmare. No drugs, no advice, nothing. It's a damn shame.
Okay.
Who should I avoid in this part of town, then? Any particularly evil figures?
Not really. Most men and women are just doing their best. And it's not my habit to speak ill of people I know, Doctor.
Cool.
What is the general situation in the East End docks?
The situation has always been tough, with a lot of tensions between the gangs and the Dockers Trade Union. The Wet Boot Boys are very nervous since they lost their leader.
The Wet Boot Boys? What?
Who leads the gang now?
Since Clay Cox went missing, it's his wife Edwina who runs the show, with the assistance of her minion, Booth Digby.
Booth Digby?
Has the gang been threatening you?
Ah, no. I've had this nickname for so long, you know, the sad saint of the East End. No one dares to bug a saint, not even criminals.
That's kind of cool then.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Hampton? I can't help but notice the cross around your neck.
I manage an either side of the poor and homeless.
Granita, thank you so much for that follow. Really do appreciate it. You're awesome.
The right path.
Welcome to the Shinobis. Okay, are you, yeah.
Are you a priest, Mr. Hampton? A deacon, maybe?
Not at all, Doctor. I'm just a man of faith willing to preach the good word.
Why didn't you use your cross against William Bishop? To repel him somehow?
That's a very strange question, Doctor. A cross is no magical token, if that's what you were trying to say. Not mine, anyway.
Have you made friends since you arrived?
Not really. But I recognize Miss Harriet Jones.
Exactly.
I knew her when she lived by the docks. That poor woman had such a miserable life.
You never came to see her here at Pembroke? Receiving visits when sick can be an important part of the healing process, you know. We're not just bodies.
You're preaching to the converted now, Doctor. To be truly honest, I thought she was dead. She left the docks many months ago.
How do you feel, Mr. Hampton? Medically speaking, I mean.
I feel exhausted. Beyond exhaustion, actually. William drank so much of my blood in his madness. I feel empty.
You're in good hands here. Dr. Swansea is well versed in blood transfusion, and I'm sure he'll take the best care of you.
Thank you, sir. I believe all I need is rest. And then I can go back to the people who need me.
Sure.
Goodbye, Mr. Hampton. We'll talk again later.
Man, that's kind of cool. Right, okay. We've seen everything that was done there. Let's go up.
Fear and disgust on every street.
Unless there's... Wait, we went here, right? Yeah, we did. Plus, up is supposed to be, like, upstairs is supposed to be our office somewhere. So, there's going to be that, too. Dude, this is a 3rd level? How big is this place? Well, I guess it's an hospital. It's kind of supposed to be big, but... Good lord. Dr. Swansea. So that's his office. That place is ginormous.
Not now.
What are you doing, bro?
Oh
Charlie! Pretty good. Pretty good. What about you, man? What's happening? Oh, dead end. Of course a dead end. This is locked, right? Yes. Nope. Does not open. We have an AXA. Wow. Patient Thomas Elwood, male, age 28, followed by Dr. Tippett. The patient's face has been heavily burned and disfigured by a bomb during the war. Even with the use of the strongest sedative, he affirms to regularly endure severe pain from the wounds, as if the flames are still burning under the skin, he says. Examinations of the cicatrized tissues show no trace of inflammation, infection, or swelling. Scars are clean. Could it be a case of persisting nerve damage? The patient never ceases to blame himself for his disfiguration. Could it be a case of guilt of the survivor? Phantom pain manifesting as a punishment for not dying with his comrade. Well, who knows? Could be, bro. Could be. We got a bottle of cheap gin. Tippett, Strickland, and Aykroyd. Me.
It's locked, all right.
Oh, come on. What's up with all these lockboxes? Was there a DLC I didn't pay for?
This must be the place. It's definitely away from prying eyes. Relegated to the shadows. A kingdom of my own. At least I won't be sleeping in a coffin.
Well, yet, at least. Article on Econs. It is a rare opportunity and almost a privilege to approach a vampire, to observe their most intriguing physical and psychological traits with a scientific and rational eye. Here are some of the most fascinating abilities I've personally observed over the last 10 years while interviewing a few vampires, or Econ, as they prefer to call themselves. Supernatural speed. A vampire can act and move like a mortal in all his actions, but the trained eye will spot that they have the keenest senses and can react quicker than any mortal. On a few occasions, alarm, surprise, necessity to flee, I've seen a vampire move so quickly, it is almost as if he had vanished just to reappear somewhere else. The human eye cannot follow their movements when they act so quickly, but it is not a teleport or dematerialization. It is only a supernatural speed. For me, it is a cat-like attribute, which allows them to run, dodge, or jump longer and faster than us. I also noticed that such speed seems to exhaust them, and that they are bound to physical limitations. Well, cool. Although, I'd love to read more. Thank you. The media. Yeah, the media is God now. Mesmerizing. One of the most powerful abilities a vampire can deploy, it is the capacity to force a mortal to obey them. And guys, we had an interesting question today at work. Just random rambling. Here's the deal, guys, and tell me your opinion. I'm curious to hear it. Should be pretty funny. If you are deathly allergic to peanuts, what if I eat peanuts and then I fart peanuts next to you? Do you die? Can you have an allergic reaction to the fart of somebody that ate something that you're allergic to? Ah, there you go. Kason, what's up? Yeah, you don't want to know how our brains went to that place. You don't want to know. Yeah, we figured that probably not, because like probably your stomach acid is probably destroying everything that could have remotely been something that's, you know, could make you allergic. So probably not. I think we need some proper research. Let's form a medical group, guys, and let's test this out. The funny part is I actually Googled it, and somebody else had that thought too. Like, of course they did. And the question is asked, and nobody has an actual answer. Everybody's just trolling. Nobody has, like, a scientific answer that confirms or denies it. Probably. Or, you know, everybody has been incredibly lucky. Yes, it is. Yeah, but then, Creditor, if you didn't digest them, would you fart them? Probably not. That's the thing. Like, to fart, do you need to have digested something? Deep questions, guys. Deep, deep questions. A vampire can bend a mortal to their will, and they can even break a mind. A vampire I interviewed even told me that the more a subject tries to resist, the more permanent the damage will be, as if the vampire could literally fracture their target's psyche. The same vampire explained to me that this ability required him time to master, and that the result could vary widely from one subject to another. Implant a false memory, erase a painful one. The possibilities are endless and frightening. Oh, that is so cool! Does that mean that we could potentially erase the memory of the guy that was thinking about his dead wife, or, you know, like, implant different memories to, like, other people that are, like, you know, like, change, like, implant a false memory to the lady that's mentally unstable to tell her that she's not a vampire or something, you know, like, that'd be crazy. Blood awareness. This may be the most catastrophic ability of all concerning vampires, since it is the cause of so many tragedies for them and us. Vampires crave for blood. They must use their will to restrain themselves from frenziedly drinking every drop of blood they can see. They need blood to function and to express their full supernatural traits. A famished vampire can be very weak, even if he cannot die of hunger or thirst. This urge, this need for blood, may explain why a vampire is so aroused by it. A vampire confessed to me that the blood could sometimes blind him, since its smell and attractiveness can be so strong. When he focuses, a vampire can almost see blood all around them, inside warm bodies, through walls, on a supposedly clean weapon, etc. The same vampire even told me that he can see if a mortal has clean blood or is ill, and that in some cases he can even sense diseases, infected clothes, or even items in a room. If this is true, it could have so many medical applications it almost beggars belief. It's pretty cool. Yeah, clean them out of the precious woman, the woman. Yeah, sure. Dragon. This ancient sword with a latent phrase engraved on the blade had been forged in Wales during the 6th century and belonged to Paulus Aurelianus, founder of the Brotherhood of St. Paul's Stole. Legend says he had this blade forged before he chose the path of exile and left England with his people. Dragonbane has been passed to each new primate of the Brotherhood and may have been used in secret ceremonies, where the primate was sent on the path of war to defeat a hostile creature. The sacred sword was supposedly lost during the schism between the Brotherhood and the Guard of Pruin in the middle of the 19th century. It seems a few copies may have been made, but this is the true and original Dragonbane, and it has only 75 damage. It's kind of sad if you think about it. And it's a one-handed weapon. I was kind of hoping for a... Everybody in Skyrim. Well, you don't know, Shotos. You weren't alive back then. Who knows what people had in their closet? Hey, Sedan, the game is actually fun. I'm having a blast.